Do you ever sit with the question, am I doing enough right now? And I don't mean that from like a guilt-ridden hustle culture, shame spiral kind of mentality. I mean the real question, the one that keeps you up at night, the one that whispers to you when you see another horrific headline or you watch another community being thrown under the bus. 5 years from now, what story do you want to be able to tell to your children, to your community, and even to yourself? Will you look back on this moment and feel proud, or will there be a part of you that wonders what might have changed if you just decided to do more? Hi there, I'm Elizabeth Cronise McLaughlin. I'm a former Wall Street and human rights lawyer, a lifelong activist, now a leadership and impact consultant and the founder of the Ripple Effect Institute. I've worked on everything from tiny little community campaigns all the way to races for the US Senate. And I'm here to tell you that this is the moment to commit to change and to being a part of the solution. Because frankly, the clock is ticking and we have so much work to do if we're going to save this democracy and build a better future. Stick with me. So let's talk for a second about the invisible ticking clock. Democracy is fraying at the edges right now. We're watching laws that gut bodily autonomy, ICE black bagging immigrants off the street, the end of Medicaid for many people in America and the closure of rural hospitals, the erasure of the truth of American history, and the criminalization of really anyone who chooses to speak up in opposition. Movements that once felt unstoppable are now packed with people who are exhausted, and hope, to be honest, feels fragile a lot of the time. And yet, so many of us are still waiting to make the change that we know somewhere deep inside us we could make if we just committed to it. We're waiting for our schedules to calm down, for someone else to do it or tell us what to do. We're even waiting in some instances, God forbid, for the next election. But here's the truth. The longer we wait, the more we lose. And progress doesn't just stall the longer we wait, it reverses. And the worst part of this is that the decline of democracy doesn't usually happen in one explosive moment. It happens in slow motion, bill by bill, violation by violation, executive order by executive order, until one day we look around and we realize that while we were waiting for someone else to tell us what to do, the ground disappeared beneath us. Now, I want to tell you something. If you've been feeling that quiet dread, that thing, that sense that it's all just slipping away, you're not wrong. You're actually quite awake. And now is the moment where we need to really start thinking about what's keeping us from making the difference that we are here to make. So let's talk for just a minute about the myth of more time. We're taught to believe, in some sense, when we look at the long trajectory of our lives, that there will always be more time. And in this instance, we may be thinking to ourselves, there's a better time for me to build the change I'm here to make. A calmer time, maybe a time when we'll finally feel ready. But here's the hard truth. We're not promised more time. Change can't wait because power structures aren't waiting and fascism sure as hell isn't. Every time we postpone the big impact change that we feel we are here to make, all that strategic organizing, capacity building, infrastructure that sustains collective action, we make the next crisis harder to face. And I'm not saying this to scare you. I'm saying it because it's time that we all got really real about where we are. I don't want to wake up in 5 or 10 years and feel like I didn't do enough in this moment. And if that's you also, I want to take you on a little journey through the two versions of the future that we're facing down. So let's go here. Close your eyes for a moment. And let's imagine that it's 5 years from now. And things have really not improved. Climate impacts are worse. ICE is a secret police force on every street in America. Authoritarian policies have crept into your state, your school board, your city council, and no one that you know is safe. Looking at yourself 5 years in the future, I want you to ask yourself, what do you wish you had done differently in this moment that we're living in right now? Where do you wish you had spoken up, built something, organized? What difference do you wish you had made? Okay, now I want you to take a deep breath because we're going to flip the script. Same timeline, but this time You did act. You joined forces with others. You built what you are here to build in your own zone of genius. You stopped reacting to every single thing in the news cycle, and you stopped trying to do it all. And you focused only on what you are really good at. You made your leadership sustainable. You passed the torch to others, and you, in collective action with others, took down a system of oppression in this country. Now I want you to imagine who's standing beside you. What's different in that version of the future because you stepped forward to lead? How does this nation look then? I have some ideas about this. I know what it looks like in my own head when I do this exercise. It looks like freedom for all people. It looks like equity. It looks like universal health care and no one falling through the cracks and no one unhoused and no one hungry. It looks like people who are free to be themselves, who are honored and uplifted in this nation everywhere. That future is still possible, but it hinges on what we do now before the windows start to close. So let's talk for a second about some obstacles to actually stepping into that brilliant vision of a future. Maybe you're thinking, I don't know where to start, Elizabeth. Or perhaps you're thinking, I'm already completely overwhelmed. How could I possibly do more? Here's what I want to say to that. You're not supposed to do this alone. None of us are. This future that we're trying to build is a future of collective intersectional action. We've been conditioned to carry it all to prove that we're committed. And we do that by burning ourselves out. But leading in this moment, if it costs you everything, will not create the future that we're here to build. The biggest obstacle I see right now is actually not apathy. Because everybody I know, and most of you in this audience, care very deeply about what's happening in this country. And you're watching it with shock and horror, and you're bearing witness to awful things. You care so much. But the danger of this moment is that that fear can spin us into a sense of isolation and into feeling frozen. So let me tell you something right now. The way out of that is not to stay isolated and not to stay frozen. The way out of that is to start thinking very clearly about why you are here and what you're good at and where those skills can be plugged in right now to make a difference. And there's some of you watching this who I want to speak to very directly. You know that there are things that you can do as a leader right now that could potentially make a really big difference. And maybe you're not sure how to execute on that. Maybe you're not sure whether you're the right person to be doing it. Maybe you've even got a tape spinning in your head that says, who am I to step forward to try to change the world? I'm here to tell you that you are exactly what we need right now. And that voice in your head, that nagging sense that you could be doing more and you could be doing it bigger, is exactly what we need right now. Because if we stay in that place of isolation, if we stay in that place of being frozen, we miss the opportunity that all this chaos creates to step in and lead towards something better. And if you feel that calling but you don't know where to start, that's not a failure of you. Lots of us don't know how to build something big that will impact generations to come unless we've got support and we're in community with people who are doing the same or similar work. And that is exactly what we help people build inside the Ripple Effect Institute. So if you've been sitting here listening to this video in the quiet knowing that more is being asked of you, I want to tell you that you're not imagining it. Many of us are feeling this pull right now to do something much bigger that makes a significant difference and that has the potential to change the future. This, my friends, right now is a threshold moment, and we get to decide what happens next. Because 5 years from now, we're all going to be telling stories about what we did in this moment. 10 years from now, we may be sitting with our kids and our grandkids and explaining how we were a part of the solution. Let the stories that you tell in that moment be stories that you are proud of. where you can stand up and know that you were part of the solution, that you were part of making sure that this country held itself together on fundamental principles of justice and freedom. It's time for you to step into that role of leading change if you know what I'm talking about when I talk about that quiet calling to be a part of a better future. If you're ready to stop spinning in crisis, if you're ready to build the kind of leadership that actually is going to move the needle and change the dynamics of this country forever, I want to invite you to book a strategy call with our team. Here inside the Ripple Effect Institute, we help movement builders and leaders like you design strategies to hold up when things get hard and to lead big picture change that makes a massive difference in incredibly difficult times. We help you lead from vision, not panic, and we do it in community with nationwide people who are committed to making as big a change for the better as possible in this critical moment. Because the future isn't just something that we inherit. It's actually something that we shape and create. And if you're ready to be one of the people who is a part of shaping it for the better, click the link in the description below and let's talk. I'm here to tell you that no matter where you are on your journey to trying to make a difference, you're not too late. Every single person has a role to play in this moment that we're all living through. You can make a difference. You can be a part of the solution. We can build that beautiful future together. It's time to step forward and claim it. And if you do it in community with the right people and the right strategy, we actually can pull this country back from the brink. And not just that. We can build an America that lives into the promise that it has always claimed to possess, but has never actually created. I want to be a part of that. Don't you? If this video is meaningful to you, please subscribe, hit that like button, and tell me in the comments below what your plan is to create big change for a better future right now. Because that beautiful future that we all want is still possible if we simply step forward and claim our role in that work. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you in the next video.